All right, y'all. It's your legal bestie, attorney Symone. Y'all get in here. Get in here. Let me know where you are viewing from. Honey, we've got an update. I have the unsealed documents. Y'all, the divorce is done. The divorce is done. Technically, not legally. I'm going to explain. But the divorce is done. It looks as though all the important stuff has been done. This is now confirmed by the documents that I'm going to share with you on the screen. Let us know where you are watching from. Now, listen, I'm your legal bestie, attorney Symone. You can go to SymoneRedwine.com to book a consultation with me. I specialize in injury law. That's my focus. And I would love to help you if you've been injured seriously anywhere in the nation, whether it's from an 18-wheeler, an Uber accident, etc. I've also have experiences doing divorces, especially Texas divorces. In the prior video, which I'll link in the comments below, I've explained, honey, some of my cousins, my relatives, their boyfriends had wives and I had to get rid of them. Okay. I had to get them to scram. So I actually have divorced some of my cousins' boyfriends from their wives and everything. And it was, happy go lucky. Everything worked out just fine, just as Jehovah's would have wanted it. Because they've been together now for like 14, 15 years. Anyway, that's just a little sidebar. Again, you can go to SymoneRedwine.com or you can call 855-4-SYMONE, SYMONE. If you'd like a free consultation, just ask for Symone for that free injury consultation. Oh, yeah. And for those who are wondering, like, is she even really a lawyer? Yeah, this is where I went to school. I went to a real school. I like my schools like my vagina with walls. So I did not go to an online law school. I went to a real law school. This isn't an honorary degree. I actually have my JD, and I passed the bar on the first time in 3 states: Texas, New York, and New Jersey. For those who want to ish talk. All right, now, y'all, I was so shocked. I was so shocked to see that this divorce is already done. Now, here is the timeline. The timeline is that Christy Scott filed for divorce December 30th. And then a week later, they had a mediation. It was a settlement mediation. See, in Texas, you cannot finalize your divorce unless you mediate first. A week later, after she filed, they had a mediation. In that mediation, they settled it all. How do I know? Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. So Kristy and them are sick of us, okay? They are sick of those of us out there minding their business, which is understandable. But understand, I get paid to mind other people's business. That's what I do. That's why I'm here for you guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're new here, please join. And when I was pulling these documents from the court docket, it shows here that they have stated, so what this is a motion to seal. Because Kristy was sick of us minding their business, she has filed to have their whole docket sealed from the public. So really, we're not even supposed to see this. But I work at the courthouse, so I got the copies. Well, in their motion to seal, which is what we have here on the screen, I'm going to read it for you. It states, this is an action arising from the family code. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2. The sealing of the records in this action will not have an adverse effect on the public health or safety, and the records don't involve matters that should be available to the general public. But we nosy, so we got them. And then 3, both parties to this case agree that good cause exists to seal records in this case, and this agreement, the agreement to seal, is contained within the mediated settlement agreement dated January 7th, 2026, in accordance with the Texas Family Code. And accordingly, Kristy and Desmond both request that the records in this case be sealed. Okay? Y'all notice Desmond's behind still ain't got no lawyer. So you see down here at the bottom it says Desmond pro se. Desmond ain't got no lawyer. We talked about that in the last video, but I'll also reiterate here. Effectively, here's what this means. So again, in Texas, you cannot finalize your divorce until you have at least one mediation. Here, it appears they had that mediation a week after she filed, meaning both parties were ready for this to be over and done with. Now, in the prior video, I explained that this couple has a postnup, which means they've been preparing for the likelihood of a divorce for years now. It looks like it actually goes back to about 2021 that they started planning. Now, Kristy has a college degree. In the chat, they've stated that Kristy actually has a degree in like IT or information systems, something along those lines. He is a trained chef. So these are intelligent, educated people. And so here's how it works. So basically, with this mediated agreement in Texas, that mediated settlement agreement is binding. Hold on. Binding. I need you to now look at me when I say this. What it means by binding is that whatever they agreed upon in that mediation, even if the judge says it's not fair, even if the judge doesn't like it, the judge must sign and enforce it. In other words, sign it, once they have to put it into a divorce decree, and it must be enforced. Now, Desmond should have called my homegirl, Brenda DeRuin, here in the Houston Metroplex in the DeRuin law firm, rather than come to a mediation that is now binding on him. Okay, binding on him. They should have called Brenda. I'm going to put Brenda's information up here. And Desmond, give her a call if you can. It's not too late. See if she can help you. Because it appears he went to that mediation pro se. Because if he had a lawyer at the mediation, then that lawyer would have signed this motion, joint motion, to seal the docket instead of him being listed on the joint motion as pro se. But here's why I believe they were able to execute it so quickly. Because as I said before, they already had a postnup. So what that means is the postnup determines the split of all assets. In the prior video, I explained and I broke down how in their marriage petition, in Kristy's petition that she filed for divorce, she states, hey, we already have a division of separate and community property. That's the postnup that they created to determine how all their assets are going to be split. The only thing that a postnup doesn't determine is custody, child support, and visitation. Well, that's what would have been discussed in that mediation. So in other words, the postnup they agreed to already says, hey, this is what's going to happen with the money. It deals with spousal support, if any. It deals with the split of assets. It deals with who's going to own the YouTube channel, who's going to own which handles. It deals with transition from brands, as well as who owns what as far as the homes go and the property, any property that's owned. In the prior video, I broke down how they have a trust and they keep their properties in a trust. Smart, smart, smart. But because everything was already delineated as far as how property would split, that means in this mediation, it was just a matter of child support, child custody, and visitation. Now, Desmond, in his previously released statement, he basically talked about how he's looking forward to, being a good parent and participating in his kid's life. As well, if that's the only thing you've got going on, more than likely is it as far as custody. If you're only arguing about custody and child support, well, state of Texas is clear. For 2 children, there is a cap. Even if you make millions, that cap is $2,300 per month for 2 kids. Straightforward. So that mediation, I can see why it resolved in one day, 1 week after her filing, because they already knew he's going to pay $2,300 a month. And baby, let me tell you how that is a steal. That is a steal. They were bringing in over $100,000 per month in brand deals, in YouTube money, et cetera, et cetera. But Texas doesn't care if you're bringing in $100K a month. Texas, and even let's say 2/3 of that was brought in by Kristy, that Kristy was bringing in 69, let's say 66,000 a month, and he's bringing in, what would that be? The other 2/3 would be I don't know, 33,000 a month. Even then, he still only got to pay, in Texas, he still only got to pay $2,300 a month child support. So that's an easy conversation. And then the other would be, what's visitation going to look like? They both live in the same city, depending on their schedules. I mean, that's not the hardest thing to work out when you're both reasonable people. And the two of them appear to be reasonable people. They're beautiful people. They seem to want to both move the hell on. Also, guys, remember when Kristy, she made that post that said, same address. In other words, she's staying in that house. Yeah, Bookie, because that's what was previously negotiated in your postnup. Can we get a hand clap? Can we get a go, girl? You did that. That was brilliant. See, Cardi B needs to call up Kristy to see how it's done. Because if Cardi B would have had a postnup back when Offset was dicking down, it's not Tom, Dick, and Harry, because he was only dicking down women. Lena, Sheena, and Valita. Okay, when he was doing it to everybody, she could have used a postnup to say, look, I'm only going to take you back, Offset. Number one, we have a cheating provision. You're going to put your Peter Weeder in your pants, because we all know everybody is not going, everybody cannot afford the Magic Johnson AIDS. Now, they got money, but AIDS is forever. Now, me, if I got AIDS, I am going to die because I'm poor. Okay, I'm going to get poor people AIDS, not the rich Magic Johnson AIDS for rich people. Cardi B could have said, look, cheating, there's a cheating provision. She could have said, if we divorce, you got to pay all your tax debts, because that's what she stated has been keeping her in the marriage, is he owes $1 million in taxes and wants her to pay it, and he wants one of her properties. So she could have said, you cheat, you don't get a fucking thing. Baby, go stay with your mama who don't even like me. Go stay with your mama. Go stay with one of your little chicks, okay? Over in Washington Heights in their little studio apartment. How about that? That's what I would have said, but nobody asked me. Sidebar. Let's continue. But here, because they already determined, they as in Kristy and Desmond Scott, turning to the topic, they already determined in their prenup how all the assets were going to split in this mediation that occurred January 7th. That means they only had to discuss things related to the kids, and it appears they've agreed to that. Now, this also means y'all owe an apology to Miss Marissa. Y'all remember Miss Marissa? Now, Marissa is the girl that was seen tonguing down Desmond, and everyone was like, you're a home worker. You need to leave. They were so mad at Marissa. Poor Marissa. And Marissa made this statement, and I want you to hear this statement because people were dragging her. See, Marissa was tonguing him down after January 7th. After they signed the binding mediation agreement. You know what's the only thing that can undo a binding mediation agreement? Physical abuse. So unless somebody is knocking the other one across the head, whatever you sign is it. That is it. Game over. You can't change what you agreed to. You can't even go to the judge and be like, no, judge, I want something else. As of today, as of the release of this video, the only thing this couple appears to be waiting for, y'all, is Texas has a chill out period, basically, okay? Texas says you gotta wait 60 days from the date your divorce was filed, which was December 30th. You gotta wait 60 days before the divorce can be final. Once that 60th day comes, then you can go before the judge and the judge can sign the order. In other words, even though the two of them have like, we're out, we're done, we signed everything, it is binding. They can't change a MFing thing from the mediated settlement agreement. It was a written agreement that the two of them signed January 7th. They can't even change it if they wanted to. All they got to do now is wait for the 60th day after December 30th, which means the beginning of March. The judge can sign the order and they will go on with themselves. So I want you to hear what she says in defense of herself. Now, first of all, Marissa is clearly a beautiful young lady. She is not trans.
I am definitely not transgender. I've always been a girl. I was born a girl. I am a girl, as you could tell. They are divorced. The ink is definitely dry. Most of you guys don't actually know these people.
That's what I wanted to get to. She says they're actually divorced. The ink is dry. Why? I'm sure Desmond's not a lawyer. So he may not have explained it in 100% the correct way. But what she means by that is Desmond explained, we have already gone to mediation. We have signed our divorce documents. The only step left is the judge signs it. Y'all, I'm going to say as a lawyer, I see nothing wrong. If you're at that phase when everyone is executed, it cannot be changed. It is binding. It's binding. I don't know how to say it any other way. It's binding. It's done. Done, dun, 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 done. It's done. Therefore, even if they wanted to get, now the one thing they could do is they could pull the divorce. Either but it would have to be joint. Both people would have to say, no, I want to stay together. Absolutely, that could happen because it's called the cooling off period. So that if you change your mind in those 60 days and decide, no, guys, I want to keep my marriage, you can do it. But that's the only thing left, Bookies. That's the only. Let me know if you heard that broken down anywhere else. Oh, and also before I go, I also wanted to shout out Attorney Angel Brown in the Dallas Metroplex. If you're looking for a great family lawyer there, I conferred with her as well on this video, as well as Brenda DeRuin, who is in the Houston area. But also, I wanted to say, I love all the new viewers and subscribers. I'm so happy to have you. Now, there is one stupid person that left a nasty comment. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I'm going to read it to you. Now, her name is, I'm not going to embarrass her, but her name is Angela. And then there's some more words. I'm not going to give you the rest of the words. And here's what she told me after the last video that I did on them. She says, you don't know what you're talking about. In the state of Texas, there is a cap on how much you pay in child support. Also, there is no alimony in Texas. You can just grok the story before you talk. Then you'll have all the information. Hi, Angela. Here's why you're dumb. Number one, listen, witch. I said in the last video that the cap is $2,300. Stupid. So if you didn't watch the video, then just say that. Number two, slow learner, is that in the state of Texas, there is alimony. It's after 10 years, stupid. They call it spousal maintenance. Listen, just because you went to jail doesn't mean you know the law. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining. I'm your legal bestie. Share this wherever you share. Share on Facebook, share on Twitter, whatever, and drop your questions below. I'm Attorney Symone. Head to SymoneRedwine.com to book a consult with me if you were injured in a serious injury accident, or call 855-4-SYMONE, spelled SY.